Hello and welcome to episode 151 of No Load Time. My name is Jovet Velez and with me is the most interesting man in the world, Joel Young.
What's good, my fellow friends? No load time. Good to be with you, Obed. Good to be with you as well, my man.
Yeah, good to see you, dude. How's it going?
Life's been good. I
Living that
prob
PS5 life?
yeah, I tell you, I see people say this stuff online, but it is so true. Like the moment you get a pre-order because of the build-up, the anticipation, you guys check out the video from last week. You see my live reaction to it, but it happened literally while we were live on the show. But
Yeah,
um, literally not a day goes by that I don't pull up my Walmart app,
my
check my
precious.
recent order, just quality check, just making sure. I'm not trying to feed into any scary thoughts, but I've heard Walmart's one of those ones you gotta check. So I check
Yeah,
every day, sometimes a couple times a day. Gotta make sure that the precious is good and ready. And yeah, hopefully November 12th it will arrive exactly on opening day. I know that Amazon is saying that they oversold and that there's gonna be some that are gonna be late.
yep,
Hopefully that's not the case with Walmart. Walmart has said nothing about that. We'll see.
yep. I am jumping in, sir. So I'm waiting for GameStop to post their stock tomorrow. So I'm ready to go. So I'm between that and Best Buy. I'll just go back and forth between the two of them and see whatever comes out first. But yeah, man, I'm excited. You know what?
It's hype,
I'm
man.
excited, but at the same time, I'm like, you know what? Miles looks great, right? And I haven't played the first Spider-Man,
Mhm.
the one on PS4. So that would be my grab right there. But other than that, I really want to grab another game. I'm not 100% sold. I mean, I want to get DMC5 Special Edition, so I really want to replay that game, especially with upgraded graphics and
Right.
Virgil and all this stuff. But the game that I'm waiting for, Joel, that still hasn't, it doesn't have a release date, and it was supposed to come out this year. Is the it's a Guilty Gear Strive, because that game's coming. They announced that it's coming to PS5 and it's supposed to be out this year, but they haven't announced a release date yet. So
Mm.
that's one of the games that I'm waiting for. If that game's out on release date, I'll probably get Spider Man and Guilty Gear.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, for me, Spidey was the reason that I had to jump in. That was one of the biggest, punches to the gut when that news came out that it was going to be on PS4 and PS5. I was like, what am I doing? You gave me the price I wanted. I said if it was $100 more, it was $100 too much. They got the pricing right.
Yep.
Okay, this game's been hyped up, and then they say it's going to be on PS4. I was like, but I still committed. I'm still doing it. I'm no regrets. Very happy that I'm going to be, getting this thing day one. But for sure, now it's good for someone like you who didn't play it on PS4. You'll be able to play it on PS5, the original, more than likely, because that's something I've been doing right now. And we could jump into other topics later on, but just briefly, since we mentioned Spider-Man, like this last weekend, that was something I started playing, right? Just as I was getting all excited thinking about playing Miles, I popped in Spider-Man PS4 on my PS4, and was just messing around on there having a good time. And then the news started to come out this week about that you will not be able to get a free upgrade to the remastered, which I didn't understand why people were really mad about that, to be honest with you. If I owned the original Last of Us, did you get the Last of Us remastered free? I don't
Nope.
think it works like that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like
Uh,
that's yeah.
yeah, I saw some people saying the same thing with DMC, where it says like, oh, so if I pop in my DMC5 disc on the PS5, I'm gonna get Special Edition for free because I bought it like a month ago.
That's
Oh,
not how it works.
gamer entitlement, man. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
But
mean, go ahead.
yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Like that was one of the ones that had me scratching my head. Like this is news, but if you buy a remastered edition, of course it makes sense. And then I like that they are packaging it with the special launch edition that's coming out on PS5 day one, which makes sense. So you can play both of them there. But
Yep.
then like on PS5, the games that I have, there's two games in particular that I haven't played that I really need to play. Right, I haven't played Horizon yet. So I really need to get that. I'm hoping that should be in theory available on PS5 at some point to play backwards, right? Because 99% of those games are going to be backwards compatible.
Yep. And
And
I heard
God of
that's
War is
one.
the second one.
Yeah, well, God of War is going to be included
Right,
with
PS
the PS
Plus.
Plus. Horizon, you could probably just grab it on Black Friday, pretty cheap, and play it on PS5. I heard that that game really took benefits of the PS4 Pro.
Okay.
I mean, I played it on the standard PS4, and it still looked incredible.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't have any like major performance issues up until with the I did have it with the DLC. So when the DLC came out, the Frozen Wilds, I got it, and the DLC, because there's a lot of snow and everything. The snow tech on that in that game is like it's probably the best snow tech on a game as of yet.
Yeah.
And it really, like, you could feel it. It's like, oh, this thing's kind of shugging a little bit. So that's when you could really feel it. Like if I compare it, Ghost of Tsushima is a visually stunning game. I still think that Horizon looks better than Ghost of Tsushima. And Ghost of Tsushima, it does have snow sections, but they like when I went around in the snow, I was like, oh, let's see how the snow tech is on this thing. It's like, nah, man, Horizon was like on a different level, man, compared to this. I mean, it still looked good, but it just, like, Horizon was like crazy
Everyone
stuff,
says
dude.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone says Horizon
Well,
is a beautiful game.
yeah. Because I know that there's a snow a fairly short snow section on God of War, and I heard that Gorilla actually did the snow for that section, so
That's cool.
it behaves very similar to the one in Horizon. But Horizon's a fantastic game, dude. Like, if you can play it like the PS4 Pro version on the PS5, just play it, because that game's amazing.
Yeah. Those are the two games that I'm hoping, right? So hoping to play God of War. I know that's confirmed already, to be on PS Plus, but I'm hoping that Horizon's one of those ones I could pick up as well
Yeah.
and play on the PS5 and have that experience that I would have wanted to have had on a PS4 Pro, even now, even more so on a PS5, of course. But as you know, you and I both didn't get PS4 Pro, and I'm so glad I held out last year, knowing that the mighty investment I'm making this year. That
Yeah.
again, I'm not regretful, but I understand, guys. It's a big purchase, which is why I'm shocked. I'm not saying I'm shocked about the demand, but I'm like, how do you people have money during this economic circumstances to buy this thing?
Been
I don't
saving
know,
up
bro.
since last year, man.
I don't. I guess.
So the crazy thing is that I contemplated it too, like around the holidays, because Final Fantasy VII Remake was coming out, and I really wanted to play the best version of that game. Again, the game still looked incredible on a standard PS4, but there are some limitations. If you looked, there's a video that I sent you from Digital Foundry that they took a PS4 Pro and they put one of those new Samsung like ultra fast SATA SSDs, and the texture popping issue was resolved basically because the hard drive was so fast that you can actually load the textures fast enough where you don't notice it. But it's like really, really noticeable on a PS4. So, that sort of limitations, we'll see them. I would love to play that game again on a 5 and see how it looks. But I'll probably give it a try and see how it looks. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. I'm because even with that and the news that we got today and the games that I haven't played on PS4, like, again, Spider-Man, Sekiro, and Persona 5 Royal, I can just play those games on PS5.
So at what point, right? Like, I guess it really does revolve around, I guess, when that exclusive drops, the one game that drops, and you're like, okay, I need to see what this looks like in 8K. At what point do you say I need to get a new TV? And I think that's a big point of contention for a lot of gamers. At some point, that's gonna come into your mind where they're gonna say, whether I'm not saying it's gonna be right away, but I am saying that, like, I could see within a year and a half to 2 years, people saying, look, I got to get that 8K TV because that game, whatever that is at that time, is the one that I need to play with. That could be a new Uncharted,
No,
whatever that is.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
I'm not sold on 8K yet. There's no content for it.
That's why I'm saying taking time.
Yeah, there's no content. There's like very few devices that support 8K.
True.
So it's gonna take at least 3-4 years until we actually see 8K become mainstream, if that. Um, that being said, those LG NanoCell TVs are very tempting, very very tempting. I'm happy with my Sony because it looks great, and it's an IPS panel, so I do have the IPS stripes basically, so I get like light bleeding and all these problems that you get with an IPS panel. But like playing like Ghost of Tsushima and Final Fantasy 7 and all that, looks incredible. If you get up close, then you can see the upscaler at work, and you can see like dithering and all this thing, video processing that the TV actually tries and outputs on your TV, and it looks like from a distance, right? I want to say I'm about maybe 10 feet away from the TV. It's a 55-inch, and it doesn't look bad at a distance, but when you get up close and you can see the pixels, that's when you really really notice it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. It's gonna be cool. Joel, my weekend was basically Street Fighter. So I went back, and I have forgotten the feeling of the salt. So Saturday was just not my day, dude. It was not my day. I went did a little bit of training it's like I'm super rusty, right? So went in, did a little bit of training, did a couple of rounds on like survival and whatnot. I was like, all right, let's jump online, bro. I was like getting guys that were the same rank as me, and I was like, how is this even possible? So I got really salty. I think I won like one match out of like 7. I was really, really salty. And then my daughter heard me, and she comes over and is like, "Hey, what's wrong?" I'm like, "Oh no, I just can't really win a match," and getting a little upset. She's like, "Don't be upset. If you practice, you'll get better." It's like, okay, I'll take your advice, kid. So I popped in Star Wars Battlefront 2. Played Battlefront 2 for about an hour.
Going back to that guy,
bro. I'm still going back to Battlefront, and rooms full of people and everything. Wow. Man, it was great. It was great. Some of the same guys that I play with a lot, like from before, they're still there. Like they're still showing up. So play Battlefront for a little bit, but then on Sunday I go ahead and pop Street Fighter back in, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be like no gimmicks. I'm gonna go back to Ken because I was trying Ryu. So you know what? Let's go back. I started playing with Ken again, and then I was like, I'm gonna switch to Ryu, and it didn't go well. On Sunday, I was like, you know what? Let's do like a base Ken, like base color and everything. I was like, let's go back to basics. And then Sunday, I probably lost 2 matches out of like 8 or 9. So I did really well on Sunday. So it's like, man, it's like the feeling on Street Fighter, right? It's like losing really sucks. But when you win and when you get on like a 5-game win streak, then it just feels really good. And yeah, it was fun. Like I again went back and I was like, man, it's fun. The stick, I haven't used the stick in so long that I've forgotten that I actually, I modded I mentioned it before that my stick's modded. So I've forgotten that I've used a custom plate on it for the gate, and that feels really good. It's like, yeah, everything feels good, man. I'm in. I'm gonna keep playing it, and until PS5 or Zelda or whatever, because I pre-ordered that Zelda is coming out in November. So yeah, Street Fighter, man, it was good. It was good. I went back in and I'm in. I'm gonna keep playing. I'm gonna play as much as I can, and then we'll see where it goes. Hopefully, I can get out of Ultra Bronze, because I've been Ultra Bronze forever. I'm still in the top 100,000 players in the U.S. If that means anything, out of like what 8 million players or whatever. It's
Pretty good,
five.
man. That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
So it's okay.
There you go, bud.
We'll
If you
see.
practice, you'll get
If
better.
I practice, I'll get better. That's so true. So we'll see where that leads. Um, Joe, we know where Marvel movies are leading 2021. So,
Whew.
um, first topic for tonight, man. It's yeah. So all of the MCU movies that were scheduled for a 2020 release have been officially postponed until 2021. Sir, go ahead and give us a breakdown.
Yep. Essentially, exactly as it sounds, we have unfortunately a full push, literally a full year push, and then the immediate movies that have dates are, Black Widow, which was scheduled to come out in November of this year, is now going to be pushed to May of next year, which is in exactly a year from where it was going to be originally. Right, Black Widow was supposed to come out May of this year, 2020. Now it's going to be May of 2021. Same thing for the Eternals. That ended up getting moved as well. That was supposed to be November of this year, and that is now going to be November of next year, which was interesting because that movie was already scheduled to be early next year when they had shuffled Black Widow. So that's an interesting one too.
So why haven't we seen a trailer for this movie, Joe?
There is clearly, I guess, a concern that if they promote that movie, people will talk about that, not at the same time as Black Widow. If you look at most of the Marvel films, when one drops, usually the same weekend of the new movie coming out, you get a trailer for their next project. That's just the way it tends to go, unless there's like a Sony, Spider-Man movie or something like that, then Marvel will include that too in there. But yeah, that usually tends to be the way that they go. So I think they were waiting, hoping that it would have been a nice trailer to have come out this last summer, and then with everything going on, they're like, let's push marketing and move that to another time. I'm sure it's ready to go. I'm sure that they have this project completely done. Um, you know, there's a lot of rumors with that movie too, man. Really interested. Shang-Chi was a big one, as well, getting moved. That's also being moved as well. To the following year. So I don't know what to say, man, from the standpoint of that movie,
Mm-hmm.
because there was, there was supposedly they supposedly were right in the middle of filming that movie when obviously this whole situation started happening where the world shut down. Um, and that movie, some things started to leak out about some possible connections to the Black Panther. Clearly, with the unfortunate tragedy of Chadwick Boseman's early passing, I'm sure that Marvel's already making plans in that department, or as it is. There's already been discussions from this guy. I tell you guys, when this guy drops news, usually on Marvel, he's dead on. Umberto with the rap, he's saying that at this point discussions are around Shuri coming back to take on that mantle and transition to power, which most fans say makes sense, sure.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, Marvel. This is So one of the most interesting things about this whole news is it reveals to us that Disney putting out Mulan on Disney Plus and not putting these movies on Disney Plus, specifically Black Widow, that just shows that they put Mulan on Disney Plus to avoid the controversies that were going on. Like that,
Uh,
they clearly knew stuff was up and that they were not going to have the kind of return that they maybe were expecting, and they just bit the bullet there. But something like a Black Widow movie and all the other Marvel movies, those are $1 billion films. I mean, there's just the world will come out and watch it, and you're better off waiting. I mean, Fast and Furious can wait a whole year, and those guys
I
called
know.
that early,
Early,
bro. They
dude.
were right. I was
Yeah.
laughing at them. You and I were
Yeah.
we're in person, and we
Yeah.
heard the news, and I was like, April of next year, like a whole year,
I
and
know.
nobody's laughing now. So, yeah, clearly $1 billion franchises, it's the move to go. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say, man. I mean, hopefully maybe that WandaVision trailer came out. Obviously, that came out during um over last weekend, and with the Emmys, and there's some rumors around that series. So maybe we'll have some clarity on something like that. Those Disney Plus shows coming out to give some Marvel um, excitement. I'm sure you heard the rumors about Evan Peters. That there's rumors that guy was he was on set, so possibly Quicksilver, and not the Quicksilver as is Aaron Taylor Johnson, but maybe
Ah.
Fox's Quicksilver could make an appearance. And not to go on and
So
on and on,
the
but
good Quicksilver.
yeah, exactly. But here's the thing, man. Like Feige would do something like this. Like hearing the whole Flash news, he
Yep.
would try and beat them to the multiverse thing.
So we didn't have it on the docket for some reason, but that One Division trailer was really good.
It was
It
fantastic.
was
Yeah,
really good, man. And it
all
definitely
Division.
it really leaves the door open to a lot of things because like people noticed on the bottle of wine you said House of M in French. So,
Oh yeah,
there's a lot of
yeah,
um there's a lot of hints that that One Division is what's gonna cause the X-Men to cross over.
absolutely. And it's gonna happen in the Doctor Strange movie because they already confirmed that Scarlet Witch is gonna be in the Doctor Strange movie. They're gonna be working together. They're already it's called literally the Multiverse of Madness.
Mm-hmm.
There's clearly going to be some crossover there. There's even rumors right now that they're looking to cast alternate versions of some of the heroes, other actors to play them. Like there is talk around like Tom Cruise maybe coming in and playing Iron Man
Tony
and
Stark.
another
And then,
universe. Like some cool stuff like that
so
that could be happening,
yeah.
man.
You know what it would be pretty crazy that I'm assuming you've seen that '90s Avengers poster that's around,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like with Wesley Snipes as Black Panther, and
yep.
yeah, yeah, man,
They could do it.
they could do it. And like one crazy thing off in a movie, like Spider-Verse style. That
Feige would be the
yeah
kind of guy to try and beat them to the punch because like
yeah
people forget like literally it was a matter of a couple months.
yeah
Marvel made plans to change everything the moment that the Batman vs Superman announcement came out. They made change of plans and it was like a matter of a couple months. It was like, well, Civil War is happening and we're having Iron Man and Cap in a movie fighting each other. It
yep.
was like what they would do. So hearing the whole Flash thing with Michael Keaton and trying to get some of the OG fans, they would try and get maybe some Marvel little feels and throw it back and as early as they can. So yeah, I look forward to seeing whatever happens. Hopefully, the world chills out and we can go to the movies in 2021 and like
Yeah,
remember that time where we couldn't see these movies.
man, I'm telling you, in a couple of years, like history books for when my daughter goes to high school and they study 2020, like in 10 years or so, whatever.
You're gonna be speaking at her school. Are you kidding me? They're gonna be like, bring in a guest. I survived. I mean, literally survived.
Go ahead, they're like wear an eye patch, like Solid Snake. I'm no hero. I'm just a gun for hire. Go wear an eye patch and the
Yeah, man.
mustache, yeah, man. Man, so it's pretty good. Pretty good. So yeah, I mean, just speaking of more crazy stuff with multiverses, Zack Snyder got a pile of cash, and he's gonna spend it. He's gonna spend it. I mean, we've already seen a trailer, but it is confirmed that reshoots start next month. For not reshoots, but I guess finishing some of the shots that were not completed for the director's cut of Justice League will be shot next month. And yeah, this is like, I guess rumor is that Ray Fisher is gonna be back too,
Yes.
based on even there's that huge controversy and investigation that's going on. But that's a thing. Confirmed that Henry Cavill is not returning for those scenes. I did hear that Ben Affleck may be back for some
Yes,
scenes.
he's supposed to be back. Yep.
So yeah, man, it's like
Yeah.
$70 million to just do this thing.
They're
It's nuts.
clearly they're having some large expectations for this project. I know that there's been a huge HBO Max push in the last month. We've been seeing a lot more ads, a lot more ways of them trying to bring traffic. Batman Day was just this last weekend as well. So HBO Max had a bunch of Batman features that are playing on there. I feel like they're not just doing reshoots, and I know that sounds crazy, and like I have nothing to base this off of, but I feel like yes, clearly there was a cut enough of this movie that they were able to say like you can finish editing this project the way you want to, and I don't feel like it was entirely necessary that they brought this cast back. I feel like they had an end, but hearing the comments from people like Umberto and other scoop people and people in the scoop business, journalists, saying that he is going to try and compile all three of his Justice League films into this series.
Ah,
We could be getting more. This 4 hour thing
okay.
could be a little more than just 4 hours. I'm just purely speculating here. There's a great chance that this guy's going to film as much as he can of some stuff and set it up that he can actually finish out these projects with whatever storyline, being almost like Zack Snyder's Justice League 1 and Zack Snyder's Justice League 2. This is just pure hearsay. I have no basis for this aside from putting two and two together. But, man, the kind of money they're putting behind this, yeah, I feel like there could be more. And wouldn't that be a brilliant move? I mean, you know how many people would sign up for HBO Max if that's the only
Yeah.
place to see this?
Dude, I'm signing up for it.
Yeah,
Uh,
all the fans are doing it because they gotta see it.
exactly. Like there's no going around it. You know, I'll get HBO Max and I'll probably buy it on Blu-ray if it comes out.
Right, you'll do both exactly.
Yeah, because I think that this is gonna be good. I mean, there's like the level of confidence that WB, or not WB anymore, but you know AT&T has behind this project is pretty big. And they're not gonna just give up money and it's like, hey, here you go, retouch some scenes. Like this is
No.
like this is akin to a remake, Joel.
Yes,
It-
this
it-
is an investment from AT&T.
yeah. So I think that it's gonna pay off because subscriptions are gonna go up. People are gonna buy on Blu-ray. Yeah, I'm really excited. I can't wait for this thing, man.
Great
Yeah.
move. I'm excited to see
So
it.
we've been talking about it for so long, and now that it's almost a reality, it's I'm really really looking forward to it. So yeah, man. Joe, Xbox Series X and Series S pre-orders went up. Man, of course, nothing worked. Just like I told you, it's like, yeah, nothing worked. Amazon were smart, and they delayed it an hour, and a lot of people were successful getting their
I
pre-orders
think
through
Amazon and
Amazon.
Best Buy, right? Didn't they both do like an hour?
I think no, Best Buy was like right away.
Okay.
Like, dude, Best
I saw
Buy.
it crashing.
So I went to Best Buy site multiple times on Tuesday, and up until like around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, there were still Series X available.
Wow.
Yesterday there were Series S available at Best Buy and directly with Microsoft at the Microsoft store.
That's all I would want to buy.
So, so yeah, that was the thing. It didn't go as smooth as everyone was saying because everyone was like taking dumps on how PlayStation handled it, and they came out and apologized, and it was exactly what I said. It was like Walmart posted it early, and then other retailers said, it's like, oh, we can do this, let's go ahead and do it. But it was supposed to be the next day. So Microsoft was a little bit more organized. We saw a lot of demand, especially for the Series X. And I think they really played their cards well, Joe. So whoever was in charge of what happened on Monday, or what was announced on Monday, like really deserves credit, because Microsoft went ahead and bought ZeniMax, the parent company of Bethesda, and that in itself, it's a huge deal. Like, I'm a PlayStation guy, I'm not gonna downplay it. That thing is legit. That being said, there's more information that came out afterwards on how they're handling stuff. And the deal's not going to get finalized until January to June of next year. So the maybe like Q2 2021. That's probably when this deal is going to be finalized. $7.5 billion, more than Star Wars. It's
That's that crazy.
it's
Marvel, more than Star Wars.
I know it's pretty insane. Here's the thing, right? To me, this has zero impact because I really don't care about any of the Bethesda properties, and I'm just being honest. I don't own one single Bethesda game. I haven't played one single Bethesda game, not even the Doom 2016. That being said, those are huge franchises, and not only Bethesda, like I mentioned, Doom, so its software is part of the acquisition. ZeniMax itself, like the parent company, they've been like super shady for the longest time, so maybe getting rid of the heads of that company is probably for the best. So I see only good things coming out of this in that regard, right? That being said, going back to the two exclusives that were announced for PS5, because PS5 has two console exclusives that were published by Bethesda, Deathloop and Ghostwire. So those two games are still coming to PS5 exclusively, and they're of course going to be on PC. Bethesda themselves confirmed that their key franchises, meaning Elder Scrolls and Fallout, are gonna still be available on everything. What this does, Joel, however, is this takes Game Pass to the next level. Like, Game Pass now is a must-have service. Like, Game Pass now is Netflix, basically.
Yeah.
Like, that's what they needed, and now they have it. So, and they're already, today they just announced that Doom Eternal's coming out on October 1st on Game Pass. So it's already starting. Big deal, Joel. What do you think?
Yeah, I saw the news and I was like, wow, Microsoft yet again is setting themselves up for tremendous success for the future of their gaming division. They're Xbox in general, like it might not be today where they maybe want it to be, but their projections looking at the future, it's very bright. It's looking very good for them. Between the multiple studios that they've acquired from the past, and then now this massive household Bethesda coming under their umbrella sets them up now to say, okay, we have our launch the way it is. We're getting these into people's homes. We're setting up these consoles, as we've joked about, as Game Pass systems essentially. But whatever they decide to do now after 2021, that's where you got to keep your eyes on, because clearly at the moment right now, PlayStation guys and etc. Like, we recognize it's a power move. We have to acknowledge it and see that it's big, but big. At the same time, we have to know that, like, I don't think it makes you say, okay, now I got to get that Xbox system. It just makes it more incentivized. I still feel like they're gonna operate a good portion of the company, playing nice with the other consoles, with PS5, and they're not gonna, really hone in on the ability to make things more exclusive, just because PS5s, is gonna be selling really well, and they're gonna be able to make money off of, their competitors. So, I mean, why would you, hold out on that opportunity? But yeah, I have no idea from a standpoint of what this does, aside from the Game Pass upgrade that it brings, which is phenomenal at the moment. Yeah. I'm not sure where their head's at, but I can't wait to find out.
Yeah, I think this is a Game Pass power move, basically.
Yeah.
They needed to get Game Pass to the next level, and that's how you do it, right? You got to bring this key franchises that otherwise would have been, almost impossible to get into the service. I think out of all the big publishers, Bethesda and 2K are probably the only ones that don't really have a presence on the service market. EA has Origin, and there's Uplay.
Yeah.
There's Uplay, and then even PlayStation to some extent with PS Plus and their free offerings. So they played it well. I mean, the Microsoft this relationship doesn't, like, this is years in the making, right? Because it's back when Oblivion came out on the 360, and that was a killer app basically back then. To a lot of us here, right? But yeah, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, in how I feel about everything, right? This is an awesome move by Microsoft, right? But at the same time, it just still doesn't move my needle, and I think it doesn't move my needle because of a PC that I built, and because I have, and then it's funny because I saw a meme of a guy saying playing Fallout 4 on PS4, and it's like, oh, Bethesda, Microsoft bought Bethesda, and then the guy is like on a PC, but anyway, it's like, because you also have a PC. If you have a decent PC, you can take advantage of these games, and you don't have to make a second investment on an Xbox. That being said, if you don't have a gaming rig, if you're a mobile person, like you have a laptop, then now the Series S becomes very, very appealing.
Which is where the boat I'm in. Like I was looking at the Series S on during pre-order, and I'm like, this looks good. Like, knowing what they've done right now, setting themselves up.
I mean, not the console looks good.
No, yeah, it doesn't look good aesthetically.
Yeah, there you go.
And it looks good on the the transcript. Yeah, I don't have the gaming PC setup, right? I've got a nice laptop. I'm good, but I don't necessarily want to go ahead and create a gaming rig or anything like that. So someone like me, like, yeah, I don't even need a Series X. I just need a Series S.
Yep.
And looking at the pricing standpoint that they did, where $299 is pretty good to get in. It's cheaper cost than getting a PC, or doing even that. This isn't for me, but for some people, maybe little Billy says, you know what, I'm gonna do this $24.99 deal that they've got going on, and I'm gonna mow the lawn every weekend. Dad and mom give me that $24.99 each month of allowance or whatever, and little Billy can play, has his Game Pass and his Series S.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a bad deal.
No, not at all. Not at all. The one on PC is definitely worth it. I'm taking, like, Streets of Rage 4 that I streamed last week. That was on, not last week, but the week before. That was on. Oh, was it last week? Yeah, it was last week. That was on Game Pass. So, there's plenty of stuff. They keep adding stuff. Of course, there's stuff going out, but at the same time, there's plenty to keep you busy. It's definitely a great deal. Joe, just moving. Excuse me, man, lost my voice there. Got too excited.
But talking about pre-orders, do we want to talk about the little sploof that happened with people buying the wrong console?
Because yes,
that was pretty hilarious.
So I saw some people downplaying this. Basically, the ranking for the Xbox One X went up like 700% on Amazon. It was still like the people were saying, it's like, oh yeah, it's not like they bought it because it's still like a number, like it's not even on the top 25. The thing is that there's limited stock for the Xbox One X because that thing went out of production 2 months ago, so that thing's not even made. So what's out there is that's what it is. So, little Billy is gonna be real disappointed this Christmas when he gets the same console he already has. Probably.
Aunt Shannon is so excited. She's like, "Look what I got you, little Billy!"
But I already got one of those.
Opens it up and it's a box of disappointment.
Yep.
Aunt Shannon is disappointed.
Box disappointment.
He's like, "I saw X. I thought that's what it was."
That's like when you're in the office and you see that box of donuts, you open it, and it's celery sticks and peanut butter. Yeah, box of disappointment, man.
I've never had that happen
Telling
to
you.
me. Peanut butter cells.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yep. So yeah, that was pretty funny. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
One big thing, Joel, and this is where I'm going, right? Because Sega was very cryptic on some of their tweets, right? And they were alluding to Xbox in one in a lot of their like communications. So there were like this there was like this speculation that Microsoft was going to buy Sega, right, and then be big in Japan, right? So here's the thing, and I already said it on the podcast, so I'm on the record, but I'll double down on it, right? If there is ever a new Sega branded console that comes out, even if it's an Xbox in disguise, I'll buy it. Because
Sega, man.
that's me, right? Sega, it's me. It's part of me. I have to do it. So, that being said, I doubt that this is true. And it's because so this sort of companies, right, like Nintendo, Sony, Panasonic, Sega, Toyota, all these Japanese companies, they are looked as like institutions in Japan, and the only way that you can actually buy one of these companies is by merging, kind of like what Nissan did with Renault, and they merged into a company. So Renault couldn't outright buy Nissan. They have to merge. So that would be the only way that Microsoft would be able to do this. Microsoft is not going to merge with any other company, dude.
Not at all.
They're not going to merge with any other company. That's it, and that's it. That's my understanding, right? Is
Sega,
that
Microsoft.
it's not like
Sega, Xbox.
it's not. It's not going to happen. I mean, they could have, like what I mentioned, they could have had a partnership, and they've released the Xbox as a Sega device in Japan to boost sales. That would have been genius, in my opinion.
Would you go buy one of those online?
Oh,
and
yeah.
have it shipped from.
I would buy it at Play Asia or Yes Asia or whatever, or whatever site has them.
Ship it to the States.
Ship it to the States, man. And if that thing's probably like not region locked, I just sign into Xbox Live and or SegaNet and connect to it. Yeah. I think that they're probably working on a strategic partnership for the Japanese market, and that's probably it, right? We'll see how it does. We'll see when it launches in Japan. We'll see how the Japanese market reacts to the Xbox. Of course, we've seen like when the Xbox One launched, we've seen like the lonely guy in the line waiting for the Xbox. Joel, do you know that there's like only like 100,000 Xbox Ones that were sold in Japan, like up to like right now?
Wow.
It's bad. Like,
wow.
It's funny because I remember seeing interviews that were interviewing like kids. It's like, hey, so would you like to buy an Xbox? Like, what's an Xbox? It's like, would you like to buy an Xbox? No, I want an iPad. Yeah. So it's gonna be tough. They're gonna have a tough time, especially in a market where, like right now, Nintendo is like dominating it again with the Switch, and Japan loves their portable devices, and the Switch is like their like big thing. Yeah, I think that that upgraded Switch dock, it's probably gonna move more needles than the Xbox in Japan. To be honest with you. That being said, they're probably working on, like I said, on a strategic partnership for the Japanese market, and maybe it'll work out, and they can actually have a little bit of a presence, because, man, and now Sony's getting like console exclusive content and games, and Final Fantasy and all this other stuff. Yeah, it's gonna they're in a tough spot in Japan, but. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. One other thing on that, is that they've announced a price today for their hard drive expansion. And the pricing that I've mentioned was correct. These things are going to be $219. So $220 for a 1 terabyte expansion. It is a custom drive that the Xbox is going to use. And of course, we've seen already that Gen 4 NVMe drives go for $200. So if you want to upgrade your Xbox to Xbox Series X to a 2 terabyte, it'll cost you $220. If you want to upgrade the Series S to a terabyte and a half, is $220. Now with the PlayStation, of course, it'll support certain drives that have certain specs, but you can actually buy, like, if money is not an issue, you can just go ahead and drop in a 4 terabyte NVMe drive. If you're high roller, you can just probably just go ahead and drop it in. But yeah, interesting stuff. I'm happy for Xbox. I'm actually really happy, Joel.
Same.
Because that's gonna make Sony like step it up, and I'm looking forward to what this gen is gonna be. Really interesting. Because it seems like now both of them are gonna have a fair start.
They're in it to fight. Nintendo's doing really great. They're doing their own thing.
Yep.
This is a very good time for gaming. Last gen is a thing of the past, man. We're in a new day, and it's gonna be exciting to see what happens.
Yep. We're still gonna do that games of the last gen episode. So.
And one last observation, just to point out, is and we're about to talk about streaming gaming in a second here. Like, it does seem like that's a common theme as well going into the future of gaming is game streaming, because between the Series S and the digital edition of PS5, there is a lot of reports that are coming out that there's a demand for those consoles. Someone I was even texting, that's an Xbox guy that I know, was telling me I'm getting the all digital PS5. They didn't want a Series S just because they were done with Microsoft. They're like, there's nothing that I need right now. But they're saying they're going to get digital, all digital PS5 because of the exclusive. But it's still like people are happy to get this streaming. They don't feel a need to have the physical media. You and I admit it. We're old school, dude. We like our disc and the ability to build the
flexibility.
To do both, Yep. But yeah, totally makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. It may get to the point where I buy the PS5 that has the disc, and I just end up buying the games digitally, because use the drive for backwards compatibility. So it's probably gonna end up like that. Joel, out of nowhere, Amazon comes out and announces Luna, which is basically their streaming service for games, with what looks like a carbon copy of the Switch Pro controller. It's weird because it just looks exactly like a Pro controller. This thing is going to be $6 a month introductory price. Select games will run at 4K 60 based on what they're saying, right? We know how that went with Stadia. But go ahead.
No, I mean, that's just it, right? Like, how much of this makes you feel like Stadia? It's not. I mean, it's Amazon, not Google.
Well, at least Amazon didn't come out with like fanfare. It's like, we're working on this thing, and it's gonna be the future of gaming, and that's what Stadia's problem was, is that it gathered too much exposure and expectations. This thing was just announced. I was like, oh yeah, we're doing this thing, So we'll see, but they do have 100 games that are going to be available at launch. RE7, Control, the Panzer Dragoon remake, Plague Tale, Yooka-Laylee, Grid, Apsu, Brothers. So a good combination of indies and AAA games. They did say that Assassin's Creed and Phoenix and Immortals are gonna be in as well. Controller's $50, which is not bad. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Big thing is that this thing launches. They're planning to launch before the end of the year. So yeah, we shall see. There's really not a lot of information about it, other than the announcement that they put forward. But yeah, Joe. Now we got this Stadia, XCloud on Xbox and PlayStation Now. So now all the major players have a streaming service, and I know that there's certain games for the on the Switch in Japan that are like basically exclusively streamed in for the Switch. We know that Assassin's Creed, the last Assassin's Creed was RE7. I mean, Nintendo may as well be working on something like this. I doubt it because they're more reliant on their properties moving the hardware. But it's interesting to see that they come out with this. Of course, Amazon owns Twitch, so
Right, and that's the thing, right? Like, not that Google and by any means is inferior. They're very capable, very successful business, but their approach to this whole industry, this whole space was just a PR nightmare. But looking at this, catching us by surprise, we don't know that much about it, very limited knowledge. I mean, if Amazon wants to get into this thing, they very well have the means to do it. Amazon's a very successful, very in it to win it kind of people. They're doing great from obviously a video streaming standpoint with their Amazon Prime, being offered. I wonder what capabilities they might offer. Maybe you'll have the ability to add Luna onto your Amazon Prime. I don't know if there's going to be any kind of ability to do something like that down the line. That would be really smart, a great way to get early adopters, because I know people would just buy a controller and see what's up. I don't know how they're going to make it more appealing, but how it stands right now, it's just interesting. It's intriguing.
Yep.
But I'm sure they'll do something. I mean, again, it's Amazon, right? Like, they've got the resources to do something big, and they have the money to dish out for an investment to see how the gaming industry treats it.
Yeah. I guess it's one of those things that we'll just have to wait and see. Joel, TGS started today, the Tokyo Game Show. The only, in my opinion, relevant piece of information that came out today is that the Nier Replicant remake, basically Nier Replicant being the prequel to Nier Automata that came out originally on PS3 and 360, is getting a remake. That got confirmed to come out on April 23rd, 2021. So that's got a release date. It looks good. I'm actually looking forward to this game, not because there's like unanswered questions with Automata, because Automata was like, you can play Automata without having to play this and still get still get the story, most of the story out, and still get a significant impact on the story. I mean, that game freaking broke me, and I cried like a baby at the end. So yeah, it's great. So that's probably the biggest piece of news to come out today. There are some events happening tomorrow. I know that Capcom has stuff coming out tomorrow. Sega has stuff that's gonna be announced tomorrow. Yeah, we'll see. Not much has been out yet. Just basically preliminary stuff. And then Microsoft had their show where they basically came in with that Sega push. So yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully next week we'll definitely have more information on games that get either announced or confirmed, or we get dates. We still don't have a full release title roster for PS5 and Xbox. So I'm hoping to see that within the next couple of weeks, and hopefully they'll announce a PS5 version of Street Fighter 5, because I'll keep playing it.
Wow.
Because I'll keep playing it. So I'm in, man. I'm in. I don't have any story driven games at the moment, so it's just gonna be probably Street Fighter and Battlefront for the foreseeable future. See, the thing is that I can't do like a 2 hour session on Street Fighter because my brain starts to hurt an hour in. It's draining. So I'll just play it on like hour increments. Play an hour today, play Battlefront for an hour, call it a day, that sort of thing. I may replay the RE2 remake in October, just for the spooks. So, but yo, that's what I got, man. No breaking news as far as I know. I can do a scrub. If you have any thoughts on Tokyo Game Show and what to expect.
Yeah, I don't honestly don't have much to say there. I mean, right now I'm just waiting on any PS5 news that I can get. Of course, I was talking with you about it earlier during the week. I'm like, man, it's kind of funny that like we still don't even know what the UI looks like for
Yeah,
PS5. And I saw an article came out from IGN that like list of things that we still don't know about PS5, and that was one of them. That's still interesting. Just waiting on.
yeah. Yeah, we still don't know what the UI looks like, and we still don't know, the what's. Well, we know what the what's in the box sort of thing, but again, the launch lineup, um, the store, how all this is gonna happen. So we still don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see after this week. So I'm expecting to hear something in the next, like I said, 2 weeks, because they promised to tear down and they promised more stuff to come regarding the UI. So they probably wanted to give Xbox their week, have to get the pre-orders. They probably knew about the Bethesda stuff too, because
Sure, industry.
that's industry. So they probably knew about that. Which by the way, Joel, I don't know if you saw that fans were calling for Sony to buy Konami.
Yes.
Um,
Now that
that's
would be a big acquisition,
that's kind of yeah. Well, that's kind of yeah. It's kind of crazy. I mean, they can probably buy the Konami Games division,
but not
but
Konami.
not Konami as a whole. Yeah, because I don't think Konami. I mean, they make their money in like pachinko machines and gyms and all this stuff, right? But the gaming IPs is what fans want, and there's rumors that Metal Gear Solid like 1 and 2 are coming out on PC. So there's that came out accompanied by rumors that they're indeed working on remakes. So we'll see. I mean, Sony. I know that Sony has cards up their sleeves, so we just don't know it.
I mean, we are weeks away, man, from this launch, so
Yep.
more to
Yeah.
be seen.
We're probably gonna get more announcements. A confirmation date for Ratchet and Clank, because
That's for me a big one that I'm looking forward to
yeah, me
getting. I
too.
got to get that.
Yeah, that game looks really good. So that's what we got, man. If you want to just go ahead and close it up.
Absolutely. Good people of No Load Time, thank you again for watching, listening to our show. Of course, you can subscribe to us if you're watching the video version. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, make sure you subscribe to our podcast, iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Spotify, and we're also on Amazon as well. Make sure that you are following us on social media at No Load Time. That's at No Load Time. That's on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. Also, if you have any questions, comments, feedback, we'd love to hear from you. We welcome it. Send an email to noloadtime@gmail.com. That's noloadtime@gmail.com. Thank you all so very much, and we look forward to being with you all on our next episode 152, next week.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you again next time.